This is WWE Hall of Famer Greg the Hammer Valentine, and you're listening to the WNS Podcast, and don't forget it.
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source Podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or find us on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now, being broadcast in over 30 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
I'm Doug.
And we welcome you to episode 137 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We are on Twitter at WNS Podcast, and the main site, WNS Source.
Also, we are on Stitcher. Rate, review, subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff, please.
Oh, we certainly do appreciate it. Got a big show for you all this week. In case you didn't hear at the beginning, we're going to be interviewing WWE Hall of Famer Greg the Hammer Valentine. We're also going to be giving you our thoughts on SummerSlam, Raw, Total Divas, some hot topics, Q&A. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a fun show. How you guys doing?
Tired.
Tired? Oh, that's not a good way to start. How about you, Doug?
Very tired.
Oh, come on. Oh, you guys are killing me. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll just dive right on into what happened over the weekend. We got to check out SummerSlam on pay-per-view. Finally got to go back to Wings to Go.
Yeah.
I was very happy that they did that, so we didn't have to worry about
free.
Yeah. So just buy some wings and you're good to go. And got to re-enjoy their Cajun wings and hush puppies and awesome French fries and good stuff.
It's all right.
I can't eat their food.
Their fries were awesome.
I don't know. Every time I eat their food, I wake up in the middle of the night thinking I'm going to puke.
Oh.
Last time I thought it was just because I was drunk, but it's their food. I didn't drink any beer this time, and it's whatever I didn't even overeat. I just woke up feeling like I was going to vomit.
Oh, that's not good.
So I can't eat their food, apparently.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What did you have?
Not sponsoring the show this week. Wings to Go.
Not Doug approved. Doug disapproved.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
Every time I'll leave with something.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, but we did get to enjoy WWE SummerSlam that happened this weekend. Kick things off with the pre-show. RVD going up against Dean Ambrose. I'm not really sure why they put this on the kickoff show. I felt like this was a pretty good matchup. This should have been on the pay-per-view, but I guess it's a way to get people tuning in for the kickoff show.
I thought the word was that what I had heard was they wanted to do the schmoz on the pre-show and turn it into a 3-man for the main show.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that, so I don't know.
Did not do that. But RVD ended up getting the victory via disqualification after some interference by the Shield. But, Mark Henry and Big Show were at ringside trying to prevent that, but unfortunately it happened. But all in all, I thought the match was pretty good. I was kind of surprised we didn't get, the big pyro. They had a nice video package, but they didn't do pyro. Apparently, Miz was the host of SummerSlam, and I felt like it was a waste of time. He made 3 appearances, and they were all flat.
He's the host.
You wanted to see more?
Yeah.
I wanted to see something good.
Like what? What was he going to do?
I don't know, but it was just bad. Anyways, it just fell flat for me. But the very first matchup for SummerSlam, got to see Bray Wyatt going up against Kane in a Ring of Fire match. Now, it's not the traditional. Yeah, I was waiting for Johnny Cash to start singing. But unfortunately, it's not an Inferno match. It's a Ring of Fire match. I felt like this match was, I don't know. I felt like they weren't communicating very well. It kind of felt a little sloppy to me. But what did you guys think about it?
I thought it was perfectly fine. I mean, I think they worked about as well of a match as they could under the circumstances.
Yeah. Because there's only so many things you can do without getting too close to the fire.
Right. And even then, they seemed to be pretty nonchalant with how close they were to the fire. Mm-hmm. On numerous occasions that I noticed, I was like, well, he's pretty much on that fire.
Yeah.
and he doesn't even seem to be paying much attention to it. So I'll commend him for that. I think it's hard to have a good match with this kind of a stipulation. I mean, the match was completely fine, I think, and I mean, there's just no reason for them to have started a feud with this match. They could have done, if they wanted to write Kane out of TV, they could have done it in a normal match. They still could have done the steps thing. They didn't have to do the match this way. I don't understand why. But the right guy went over, so I'm fine.
I'm surprised that they didn't catch on fire.
Well, they put quite a bit of distance between the fire and the ring. So there's probably, a pretty good solid foot. That, but yeah, it was pretty lucky that no one was seriously injured, and every time there was a big slam, the flames would just shoot up into the sky, and then
Is this the video game?
yeah, it felt like they were trying to make it like that, where there's a big slam, and that's what causes the fire to go up. But then when the other members of the Wyatt family tried to get close, the flames would shoot up as a protective barrier, and they did what they could to try and put out the flames, fire extinguishers, or they tried to get a cane and give it to Bray Wyatt, but it caught on fire, and it was kind of hokey. I did chuckle a bit at the firefighter, spraying the cane with a fire extinguisher, even though it had already been out. But
I think they tried to do something interesting, and I think that's commendable. I just think that they were kind of shackled by what they had to work with.
Yeah. So, take it for what it was. Bray Wyatt ends up getting the victory over Kane, and
they take him back.
Yeah,
they take him to the back.
They dragged him back after slamming his head with the stairs. So it looks like he's going to be written off for a while, but not too bad of a start for SummerSlam. Next up, we got to see Cody Rhodes going up against Damian Sandow in this grudge match that has been building over the past few weeks. Cody Rhodes shaved the mustache. And that's, I felt the match itself was okay. They worked together pretty well. And Cody Rhodes ended up getting the victory. What were your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this match. It was fine. I was kind of, I don't know. I think I just want to hole up in my apartment and watch pay-per-views all alone by myself, because I find it very difficult to watch pay-per-views in an atmosphere with a lot of people I kind of despise. I hate most wrestling fans. Not joking around or anything. I kind of despise most wrestling fans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be preachy and be a guy that tells you how you show your fandom, but it's certainly the way the majority of people seem to want to show their fandom is not how I would or want to show my fandom.
Well, saying stupid stuff all the time.
It's just everywhere, no matter the circumstance. I mean, people are saying stupid stuff or trying to sound cool and smart. And yeah, I mean, I guess I get it. I feel bad for them. Yeah, maybe that's the only place in their life where they feel they can go and sound cool or smart, but you're not smart. You're not sounding cool or smart there either. Just people saying stuff to sound like they know a lot more than they do when they only kind of half-ass know what they're talking about. It's just annoying. Way too much look what I know when you don't know shit. And instead of watching the match, I mean, if you just want to talk to someone, go somewhere and have a conversation with someone. I'm not saying you can't respond or make noise or anything like that. I think that's perfectly fine, but just people just
time and a place.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not how I can't. Maybe again, I don't want to tell people. Maybe time has passed me by, and I'm an old hermit curmudgeon dude who just wants to be left alone to experience the shit that I like the way I experiencing it, and I don't want to have to fucking deal with all these people who annoy me every step of the way. Maybe it's just me. I can't stand. A lot of times I'm watching it on TV at home alone, even, and the crowd just irritates me the way they choose to show their fandom. I don't know. I go to real life professional wrestling shows and people are just there to like get themselves over or don't really care about anything that's going on. It just pisses me off. And I don't know, like I hate all wrestling fans. They all suck. They're the worst people. And maybe it's just like time pass. And I don't want to sound like I'm like burned out on pro wrestling because I think I'm more excited about not only the WWE, but wrestling in general. There's a number of things that I'm more excited or as excited as I've ever been on pro wrestling. I just hate the fans at an all-time high. I don't want to have to.
Especially like Chikara. You're all over that right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think WWE is doing well, like extremely well right now. There's a lot of stuff to be happy about. Chikara is like, I'm more interested in Chikara than anything else. And Chikara's not even, they're just running angles as a closed fed right now. They're like not even running shows. I mean, you can get into the semantics of that if you consider wrestling is Chikara, but not really a thing. I'm just like, I don't know, maybe time has passed me over and like I'm just that old dude who cannot relate to people these days and I just don't want anything to do with them, but they more often than not people ruin my experience.
Oh, it's just that we live in an age now where people tend to be loud. They try and get something trending or try and, get something that's funny or
it's
something.
like, are you there to like make the show about you or are you there to experience the show?
Exactly.
Whenever I go see a movie, if some asshole is talking like about trying to sound like he knows a lot about movies or like trying to get himself over in the theater, like I would say, hey, someone get this guy the fuck out of here. I'm not here to see you. I'm here to watch the fucking...
This guy's movie, other movie was so much better.
You're not the show, man. You're not the show. It's so annoying to me. And even just like, you don't... everyone loves Star Wars and everyone loves Darth Vader, but people don't just like cheer Darth Vader because during Star Wars, that's just not how it works. It's just not how... I just don't understand how and why people express their fandom the way they do. And I just... Maybe it's just passed me by. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old curmudgeon dude who doesn't want a fucking thing to do with anybody. So
the match was okay.
The match was fine. I mean, I say it's fine because in my experience, I'm battling that while I'm trying to
focus.
I don't care if people are loud or like showing support or like, but it's like,
come on, Cody, boo, Damien.
It just takes away from the experience for me.
Yeah, but I felt like the matches that weren't like the main event matches were fine. It was there weren't like bad matches, but there were the stars of SummerSlam, obviously.
Yeah, there was nothing offensive on the show.
Yeah,
I mean everything was passable.
I felt Cody Rhodes, Damian Sandow match. It was a good match to sort of blow off the feud, even though they continued it on Raw. But it was fine. It was a good, we have this match to help fill the card because we know that what matches you were really here to see, and I felt like they delivered on those matches. But Cody Rhodes ended up defeating Damian Sandow, which takes us to the next match. Alberto Del Rio going up against Christian. I felt like this was sort of one of those sort of underrated matches because they didn't really build that much of a feud. They didn't have a whole lot going into it, but I felt like these two had great chemistry. The spot where Christian was going for the spear and Del Rio just did a drop kick on him was great. I felt like these two, put on a good workhorse type of match. But Del Rio ended up getting the victory on that one. But what did you guys think?
I don't remember too much from it.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a super solid match with a really hot, like, get the crowd into it, like, sequencing, like, ending sequence. Like,
yeah.
I thought it was, like, super, super rock solid work from two guys who are rock solid, like, workers. And then they had a really hot, into the match. I mean, we got people into it.
And there were some hard hits, too, because, for a while we were thinking Del Rio's nose might have been broken and Christian was bleeding from the mouth.
Well, I think that's before we knew about the fights.
Well, yeah, because we did notice the black eye and
his whole face looked. People said that his eyes, but his whole face looked smashed up to me whenever before the match even started.
Yeah,
I'm talking nose and everything.
And it was because Alberto Del Rio was involved in a bar fight I believe the night before, but Drew McIntyre actually helped make the save on that one. So,
word is he got smashed with a bottle pretty good by a number of dudes.
Never
like
good.
I don't know if they're just playing it up. So he's like a pro wrestler. It's his job to be tough. So I don't know if they're like, 100 dudes with baseball bats took this guy out. But I mean, he's got some legit
Tommy gun.
He's got legit MMA experience. I'm more than sure this guy could hold his own in a fight. So I'm sure they probably had the numbers game.
I'm sure it's one of those if you think I look bad, you should see the other guy kind of situations. But it's also good that that McIntyre was there to help out, because you don't want a 3-on-1 or 5-on-1 or however many on one it was. But I felt like the Del Rio and Christian match was pretty solid. But it's worth checking out if you didn't see it. Next up, we got to see Natalya defeat Brie Bella. Just sort of a quick match from there. Just nothing really bad to take away from that matchup. But nothing compared to what was next. Brock Lesnar going up against CM Punk, and we learned earlier in the night that it was going to be no disqualification. And I think this is definitely a top contender for match of the year. They told an excellent story. A lot of hard hits. Just a good, very good matchup. What did you guys think about it?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I like them. I like the show on Raw. Punk kept on coming back. It's not like Brock Lesnar got him down for the whole match and he never came back. He did, and CM Punk got Lesnar down too. So
yeah,
it was good.
How about you, Doug?
I agree. It was like a really great match. I thought they put on a good show. I don't really have a lot to say specifically. A lot of it's I realized I was in one of those phases where I was like annoyed by everything around me, but I had the presence to understand what I was watching was good, but like I couldn't like really give you a lot of details about it.
Okay. But Brock Lesnar does end up defeating CM Punk with some help with Paul Heyman. He definitely made his presence known. Next up, we got to see Ziggler and Caitlyn defeat Big E and AJ. Just another one of those here. Let's calm the fans down a little bit. But yeah, nothing.
One thing I did want to say, I guess we've moved on, but something I wanted to mention about the Del Rio stuff is they seem to want to get him some heat by making him tell people to, introduce him in Spanish and whatnot. That's great and fine if you want to go for cheap heat, but like you don't do it in LA. I mean, like LA is a very fucking liberal town. They don't. That's not you. You can pull that shit in the South and get like legit heat, but that doesn't work there. So I thought it was like baffling that they tried. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the desired effect was there.
Just something I guess they were testing out, but it looks like they're going from there. But we got to see the main event. Daniel Bryan going up against John Cena for the WWE Championship. Just right from the beginning, you could tell that Cena was bringing his A game for this matchup. We got to see, a lot of different stuff.
Even with the
the brace on his elbow, which you could still see that huge lump, just nasty looking. And
let me thump your elbow.
Yeah, no, let's not do that. But you could tell Cena came prepared with his A game, and Daniel Bryan, stealing the show. Both of them working just a great matchup. A lot of good back and forth, and man, just
really good.
Just a really good matchup.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Doug?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. Again, like this is a match I need to rewatch. Just because like what I've been bitching about for the past 15 minutes or whatever, same reasons. I definitely need to rewatch it, but I thought they did some unique stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to force like something to say whenever I feel like super cloudy about the whole night. I mean, I was as shocked as anybody that he got the win on the Psycho knee. I mean, that's a weird finish. I would like to see them develop that as like a secondary or like as an additional finish for him. Totally fine. Like Cena leaned in and took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kenta's pissed if everyone's doing his shit on the Fed. Maybe he should send these dudes a check. Yeah, but if any, I mean, at least Bryan's gonna make your shit look good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I knew the shit kind of hit the fan there, like because the finish was so weird. It just felt like weird, and then I just kind of knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I put like if this match was like subpar anyway, it was probably because I jinxed it from like saying like weeks in advance it was going to be some like stellar match. It was probably if it under delivered or underwhelmed in any way, it's solely because I jinxed it. I'm certain of it.
I wouldn't say that it under delivered at all. I felt it was a very strong matchup. I just feel like maybe CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar, they came and tore the house down as well.
See, I still prefer. I liked both matches a lot, but I still prefer the Cena and Bryan match. I thought it was a better match. And I mean, they slowed it down. They didn't have the same style match. They were more slow and more deliberate with the story they were telling, and that's fine for me. And I was way more emotionally invested in that than anything Punk and Brock could have done.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I kind of knew like the finish was so weird when he looked so surprised that he won. Is almost, I mean, obviously it wasn't, but like that's kind of where the tip off that they were going to go with the loopy ending.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And it kind of made me concerned as to what they were going to do for the finish, especially when Cena rolled out of the ring and went and talked to the trainer, saying, or the ringside doctor, because he was obviously hurting from his arm.
Well, another thing that hurts about watching the pay-per-views there is because it's so loud that even if they have the volume loud, you can't really exactly hear. So I know that he did that, but I didn't really make out what they were saying about it.
Well, I mean, you couldn't. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but you could obviously.
I couldn't even hear what the announcers were talking about. What he was doing.
It makes it difficult, but it's.
I mean, like the bottom line is that beating Cena clean is as big as having the belt. Really,
it's huge. The people were saying, "Oh, this is BS." That Daniel Bryan got screwed out of the title and stuff like that. Because that eventually does happen. They, Bryan gets the pin, clean as a whistle. He celebrates, gets the pyro.
Not
confetti.
even with we talked for weeks about him getting the small package over, and they did get that big false finish out of it.
Yes,
but even better than that, he won
clean.
Like with a strike, even
center of the
knee
ring
strike. It doesn't get any bigger than that, folks.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just even like they didn't even do the normal cash in, like where he was like out of it from the match. Like they put him even more over by having him get fucked by trips from behind. Like he didn't see it coming. Like he was like, "Okay, Orton, you want this? Come get it, bitch." And then he got hit from behind, which I think is even better than if he would have just been like, "Oh, I had a hard fought battle," and then Orton picks the bones. Like they look, people. The same people are saying this. Look, I know that last week I ranted a lot about. I was like, it's a mistake if they cash in Orton. It's a mistake if whatever. And a lot of that is just like in retrospect, I can say a lot of that is just my fanboyism for Bryan. I mean, I can admit that. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you even admitted it during the show. You say, maybe this is just me, fanboying out for it, but I don't think that this is. Right idea.
But like in retrospect, this is another he got beaten 8 seconds moment. He's I didn't see, like, it's hard to see like through the fog, like but in retrospect it's like, oh well, they put him so, I mean, and it leads into Raw shit they did on Raw, but like they put him like way more over than just giving him the belt would have. Like they were like, oh no,
and
like
the
here's you're the man now. Like Cena's out, you're the company's on your back now.
Yeah, like the comment that I made at the end of Raw, I said we are seeing a shift in the WWE because people were calling BS on Triple H turning on Daniel Bryan and stuff like that, which it brought me back to a time when while we were sitting at Wings to Go, people were saying, oh, here comes the turn from Triple H, oh, he's going to turn on him. People could always say that and be like, oh, I saw it coming. But to be honest, so many people did not see Triple H turning on Daniel Bryan that it brought, it brought me back to the time when I was like, oh my God, like what have they just done? He's turned his back on, it gives you sort of that nostalgia feeling that,
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I saw it coming like in the match when Triple H wouldn't get the fuck out of the ring. Then I knew it then.
And you're like, oh, something's about to
but I
happen.
did up until the pinfall, even like with the celebration, I didn't know until Trips like was in the ring for way too long.
It's like,
way
you
too
can go
much.
ahead and get out now.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason I expected shenanigans, but I expected shenanigans from Maddox, and I thought if anything, Maddox was going to come out and try. I mean, if anything.
Yeah, I thought something was going to happen to Triple H that took him out of the equation.
Yeah, I thought Maddox was going to be the shenanigans, not Triple H. But I mean, I guess that's just a credit to them booking it well, or at least, me being a mark. I mean, hey, I'm not ashamed to admit it or anything.
Yeah, but here's why this is not BS. One, it's great because everyone bought into it. That's why they're saying it's BS. Is because they bought into it. This is what they've wanted for so long. Someone finally beat John Cena clean in the ring. Oh, but then they lost it. But they lost it to someone who they've wanted to turn heel for a long time because they know that Orton can do a much better job as a heel than he can as a face. So you've got the up-and-coming star being betrayed by not only a guy who claimed to be his friend, but is also, quote-unquote, the boss. And now you've got the man who you've wanted to turn heel because you know how vicious he is, finally turning heel, screwing him over, and you don't want to see it. You want him to see your guy succeed. So you instantly have the popular hero who's now in the chase for the title, and he's got to go up against, the cards are stacked against him. So he has become the ultimate underdog now, and now the fans are rooting behind him more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly like the 8 seconds thing. Like, that was the biggest thing that had happened in his career until now. But this is like that times 10 or whatever, this puts him over that much more. I mean, I know last week, again, I kind of ranted about it a lot. And I was like, it's a mistake if they don't do this and it will lessen the impact. But, like, that is me in the fog not seeing how hard they were willing to put him over on Raw. And I thought, like, this is kind of jumping ahead some, but I thought the beginning of Raw was a little clumsy and a little weird and like a little not executed the best. But the closing segment, they put him over fucking huge. Yeah.
Because you have to look at it this way. You want him to be in that top tier. Okay. Now, you can count on one hand the people who have beat John Cena cleanly over the past 5 or 6 years. You'd probably still have a few fingers left. Daniel Bryan did that. He has beaten John Cena clean. He is now in the hunt for the WWE title. He is in the company of Triple H, Mr. McMahon, and Randy Orton. 3 guys who are synonymous with the big name. He is in that group now. So it's just a matter of time before he gets the title back.
Not just that he's like in that group. I mean, I felt like he's deserved to be that spot for a while. But not only is he in that spot, but like all those top names that you mentioned have like united against him.
Yeah.
It's not like him versus Orton. It's like him versus the McMahons and Orton and Shield is like their lapdogs now, or apparently, or whatever. But it's like, it's big doings. I mean, they put him over fucking huge.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying, Evolution 2.0 or the new corporation, And,
I mean, I don't even care about that stuff.
Yeah, but you see it, with the established guys, trying to keep the underdog down. So I think that we've got a lot of good things heading our way here in the coming weeks and months. So it was just really good work. You can't undersell Cena in this matchup. Working with the injury, which he said on Raw, the doctors wanted to cancel the match, which is legit. He did not, they did not want him to wrestle, and he went out there, busted his ass, put on a good show. Daniel Bryan earned the victory.
Yeah, I mean that elbow looked nasty.
Yeah,
fluid in his elbow.
And
imagine that size on a person with a normal sized arm.
Woohoo! It'd be like putting a baseball in your elbow.
He's got fluid.
No thanks. But that does take us into Raw, where Cena does come out, tell us about his injury, and he's going to be out.
You just want to thump that thing.
No, I don't, because I can't imagine how painful that is. But he announced that he's going to be out possibly 4 to 6 months, and he said, it's bad, but hopefully he can. I hope that he can return from that. It's not one of
he'll
those
return, no question.
career-threatening injuries or anything like that. So I hope he has a good recovery.
No question, he'll return.
Yeah.
I think the talk is he's always been a guy who's rehabbed really hard to get back earlier than expected, and I think he's expected to take his time and take the expected time this time. That's a time a whole bunch right there. Yeah,
he's been going this hard for how many years?
Well,
now?
I think they are comfortable they're comfortable like in saying that, hey, we've got somebody who's filling your void while you're gone, if not surpassing you. And that's great. Like I thought I was a little worried when he came out because I thought he was going to kind of no-sell the whole thing by coming out there. But I think it's fine to acknowledge to the audience that he's going to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
And he said no excuses. He beat me clean in a fair fight. He was the better man.
And that's an even further rub for Daniel Bryan here.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like all the kids that are like super into Cena, all the chicks that are, there's people who are going to shout the stereotypical fans of Cena. That's him giving Bryan the rub from those people.
Yeah, saying, "Hey,
this is the guy.
This is the guy while I'm gone."
Yeah.
So you support him like you support me, and no better way to do it than from Cena, who's been the face of the company for so long. Stephanie comes out and tells him, well, you're just not an A, you're a B plus, and that's something to
slap that microphone out of your hand, bitch.
Yeah. So she calls us security out and escorts Daniel Bryan out.
Kicked her in the head. That's not bad. Yes.
I thought this was. I thought you're not everyone can be an A. You were a B plus. Like I thought that was a great line.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the execution in this was a little weird and a little wonky and a little clumsy, and I wasn't sure that I was loving it. And to be honest, I didn't love this opening segment. I think they hit their stride nicely in the closing segment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and dive on into the first match. We got to see a rematch from SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes once again defeating Damian Sandow. So it kind of makes you wonder where they're going to go between this feud, or are we going to see? Are we going to see Damian Sandow say, look, I can beat you. I know I can. And Cody says, oh, well, if you want to prove that, you got to put that briefcase on the line.
I do. Like Doug says, they always seem to make the dude who has Money in the Bank lose for a while. So
yeah. But do you think that's something that could happen? He says, Cody Rhodes
keep on fighting him until he wins.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to keep fighting until I beat you. And then Cody Rhodes says, well, if you want to fight me again, you're going to have to put that briefcase on the line.
Hope not.
Yeah, I really hope we don't see that, but I don't really know where they're going to go between these two now. So we'll have to see. But next up, we got to see the Funkadactyls going up against AJ and the recently heel turned Layla. And this was just a quick match. Funkadactyls get the victory. I didn't like Layla's reaction whenever she lost. She's like
crying, or
yeah. And then she kind of like stood there and she like bounced around the ring a little bit. Like, what happened? How did we lost? What happened? What's going on? I'm just like, and I'm so sick of her entrance music. Like,
she's trying to do something different, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
like, hey, pay attention to me.
They've got nothing. They've got nothing for her right now, and it's
put her on Total Divas.
I don't know. But, at least Total Divas got that episode extension. Did you hear about that?
What?
Yeah, they got a few new episodes, or they were ordered more episodes of the. Looks like the film crew's coming back.
Oh, so it's popular then.
Yeah. Well, this was the first week that Total Divas had a ratings drop, but that's because of SummerSlam.
Oh, so, yeah.
Yeah. So. I would like to look at the repeat or how many people DVR'd it, and it's probably higher, if not, the same as last week. But we'll dive into the Total Divas a little bit later in the show. But next up, we got to see the Shield in a 3-on-1 match against Dolph Ziggler. Shield getting the victory on this one.
Well, that's up because earlier Maddox said, "Hey, you tweeted about Triple H, and you said this about him." Well, the McMahons want you to fight the Shield today, 3-on-1 match.
Yeah. So, the Shield go out, do their thing, ended up getting the victory over Dolph Ziggler.
That was fresh. It's kind of a fresh matchup.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I'm kind of questioning, like, the motive for Brad Maddox to put it on there. I mean, obviously, he's the new McMahon yes man. He's kind of got to do what they want. But, I seem to recall not too long ago the Shield beating the ever-loving hell out of Brad Maddox, in a backstage segment. So it's like, why is he saying, "Oh, well, the Shield...
The powers have changed.
The Shield, my boys now." So, I don't know.
It's a short-sighted booking. They expect you to only remember what they want you to remember.
Pretty much. Hey, did you remember what happened on SmackDown last week? No? Good. So, yeah. So next up, we got to see Alberto Del Rio going up against Sin Cara.
How long ago was that? The timeline-wise? Less than a year, right?
It was when Punk was still heel, and they asked if it was around the time of the Royal Rumble, because The Rock was getting ready to go up against Punk. So it was like right at the beginning of the year. So, 8 months. But still, when you think of stuff like that, it's just, I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah, like, I don't know. I can't justify that at all. Like, there's this old saying I've heard, like, in comics, especially like back in the day in comics, where they realize that they have these kids, but they only have them as they're growing up for a certain amount of time. So they would essentially reboot everything every year, every 2 years, because they realize that they've got to hit the next group of kids coming in at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, even that's not even something you can defend. I mean, I don't get it. It's just, it's either lazy or it's insult. It's just either lazy or flat out insulting your intelligence. I don't know.
Or both. So, yeah, I don't know. But next up, we got to see Del Rio going up against Sin Cara, and they decided that for each of Del Rio's matches now, they're going to put little flags from Mexico on the corners, which it'll be interesting, I guess. I don't really know what to think about it, other than, okay, it's just something else that they're going to put for the ring. But this match was very short because Sin Cara suffered a hand injury. The ref had to stop it.
It didn't look like, because the show when it landed, it didn't look like it really did anything.
Yeah.
Well, when they slow-mo'd it, you could tell he was trying to keep it up off the ground and stuff. That being said, I'm not a wrestler and I don't profess to be
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to make it out like I'm a tough guy, but if you're a wrestler, I think you've got to be able to work through things like hand injuries. Yeah, it's Cesaro working with a fucking whatever on his hand,
pinky and ring,
for months and months and months.
Torn ligament.
I mean, Daniel Bryan had his retina detached from his eye in a match with Morishima that he went fucking 20 more minutes. And I mean, I think they could have worked a little around it and not went straight to the finish because you jammed your finger or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it wasn't even that. He did the suicide dive, waved his hand to the referee saying, "Hey, come here," and I can't continue. It's just, and apparently he got into some hot water for that.
I mean, again, I don't want anyone to say, I don't want it to give the impression where I'm trying to come off
right.
a super, I think I'm a super tough guy or anything. I'm just saying,
punch me in the face.
It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory, you got to work through some of that shit. I mean,
yeah.
Even a finger injury, I don't know. I mean, people have finished matches with much more severe injuries than that.
Yeah, but just a very short matchup, and Del Rio kind of stretched the time for, saying, "I'm going to be a champion for Mexico because they don't have any champions. So I'll be the one your kids can look up to." So it'd be interesting to see where they go from there. But Ricardo came out saying, "Oh, you're no champion. I got a guy, who I'm supporting now." Turns out to be Rob Van Dam. So RVD goes from U.S. title hunt to looking like he's going to be the next number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Which is super weird pairing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it makes sense because like RVD can't talk and like Ricardo would be like a nice mouthpiece for him. It just seems like they don't match up. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
Although I may be saying that about anybody with Ricardo right now, just because he's exclusively been attached to Del Rio. So
right.
Who knows?
We'll have to see where he can go, what he can do. See if he's a manager or something. Who knows? But our next matchup, got to see the primetime players going up against the Real Americans. I felt like this was a pretty solid match. Good work from both teams involved. The primetime players ended up getting the victory. And if you've been living under a rock over the past week, it was announced that Darren Young came out of the closet, announced that he was gay, and he's not ashamed to admit it. WWE came out, showed support for him.
You shouldn't be ashamed to admit it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So he came out and, and the WWE showed their support for him. I'm really glad that they didn't, try and make a highlight of it during the matchup. It was just, business as usual, like a lot of the wrestlers over the weekend was saying. It's like, hey, you can love who you love, just make sure you perform well in the ring. That's our only concern. And sure enough, that's what he did. He went out and put on a good show for the fans. So I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a fantastic thing. I mean, Darren Young is a very important guy. He's going to be looked up to by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big concern was that they would like fuck with his gimmick or want him to like
have him come out in like a
tutu or something. Play up his homosexuality and his gimmick, and they didn't. He just came out like a dude, like he's always been just a dude, like he still is just a dude who just happens to be into other dudes. It was fine. I mean, like I think the company handled it exceptionally well. I think that what needed to happen was the fans needed to show an outpouring of support, which I feel like happened for the most part. There are people who didn't, and that was to be expected because that's just sadly that's just to be expected. But the best thing that could have happened. The company was like, whatever, it's no big deal, and the fans showed their support, and I think it was handled wonderfully. I thought Titus came off really great and how he handled it. Saying that he's been fam for a long time now, and he's tight with his kids, and same old dude, no big deal. I watched the Cena like TMZ thing. It's like I thought Cena was gonna like fuck it up and say something stupid just because, not because he's ignorant or anything, because as a lot of people may not know, his older brother is gay. But just because they were pressuring him to like say something, they kept like bringing it up.
Stupid editing stuff.
Yeah, like
John Cena is there.
No. Well, just the way they kept like bringing stuff. Oh, you're sure this isn't going to be a problem? Well, like, what about this?
What about whenever he's in the locker room watching all of y'all shower?
Yeah, like they kept like pressuring him to say something, and he handled it really well. So yeah, great to everybody involved. Yeah. I honestly thought he was going to get a monster pop when he came out, but he didn't.
Yeah, but it was just business as usual.
Yeah, no, fun. Like, yeah.
And it looks like they're going to be working face now, which is it's pretty good because they're over with the fans. Yeah. So it's, not a bad decision to have them work face. It was just like,
I like the entrance music gets me pumped up, and like
they're dancing.
I want to dance. And,
millions of dollars. I too watched the video with Titus, and I was cracking up on the references to Rufus Pancake Patterson.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Hey man, that's my uncle. Why are you talking about him like that?" So.
Yeah, I saw like Titus on Twitter. I saw like he posted a picture of like Darren with his kid, like right as it was happening. He's like, he's been family for a long time, and this doesn't change a damn thing. And there's a picture of him with like him and Darren with his kids, and like he had like his kids all like adorable. Parents do that thing where they dress their kids like exactly alike, and like have the kids. It was just cute. Yeah, good stuff. Everyone, good for the dude.
Yeah, there you go. So next up, we got to see a backstage segment with Ryback being just a complete dick. Being a bully to one of the backstage guys. Looks like an indie wrestler, and he walked in and, "Hey, what are you doing? This is my locker room. Get out. Sit down. Stand up. Get your bag. Drop your bag. Go pick up your bag." And then just...
Open your bag.
Open your bag.
Take a shower.
Go in the shower.
Go in the shower.
Yeah. Yeah, turn that water on. Get wet.
Pretty sure it didn't happen that way, but
It happened that way. That's exactly how it
how you
happened.
saw it.
It was dirty. He was being a bully. I like the fact that at least Lawler acknowledged. He was like, man, he wouldn't be a good spokesman for the Be a Star campaign. So.
Well, no, I mean, like, people always yell when they see stuff like that, like, oh, he's not being a star, he's being a bully. Well, like, you have to understand that within the context of pro wrestling, guys have to be bullies, right?
Yeah.
They're talking. I mean, this isn't like so closed and kayfabed anymore, where they're just putting on a show, and they say as much nowadays, and they're like, for our show to work, some guys have to be bullies. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who do you guys think might be the guy who's gonna stand up to Ryback? Kofi Kingston.
good question. I don't know. I haven't given it very much thought.
Yeah, that'll be it'll be interesting to see once they do it. But they're definitely sort of playing the O'Doyle rules kind of thing with the Ryback. You know, just being a bully and a dick. But next up, we got to see the Shield going up against Big Show.
Second time tonight.
Yeah, their second.
Somebody.
Yeah, their second matchup for the night. Shield going up against Big Show. Big Show looked really good. He's dropped a few pounds, built up some muscle, and he's gotten pretty quick. He was moving around the ring pretty quickly going up against the Shield. But the Shield likes to play the numbers game, so that's exactly what happened. They ended up getting the victory over the Big Show. What do you guys think about that?
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Show was,
Big Show was what?
I forgot what he said. Oh, he said you want to do that to the Shield.
Yeah. Showing a lot of confidence. So
Beat the Shield's ass.
So yeah, but next up we got to see CM Punk come out, and he was all kinds of upset because earlier in the night Paul Heyman said, "Hey, if you come out and apologize, I'll forgive you for sort of biting my hand after I tried to feed you, and we can get the title back, and we'll be successful again, and it'll be like old times." But Punk came out, and boy, was he pissed off, and went off on a fan, and who decided to boo him, and dropping all kinds of different words. But Paul Heyman came out, tried to get him to apologize, and he refused. So he sent out Curtis Axel to try and take care of business, but Punk decided to go after Axel. They brawled all over the ring, and threw each other into stairs and used chairs and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I thought the promo was pretty great just because you could tell it was improv. I mean, It was obviously improv. And, it makes a lot of sense that he was just mad and that someone said something that pissed him off while he was already mad. And so he made it about that guy for a minute. And I thought that was totally fine.
I thought it was great that Heyman came out and did the same thing. He's like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah. Although I got to say that it looks like they maybe want to do like a Punk Curtis Axel thing, which is not something I'm interested in.
No.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do know
Curtis
how I feel about
Axel.
that. It's not something I want to see.
Yeah. But it was mentioned that Heyman sent out like a tweet or something that he might be having a Paul Heyman girl possibly in the near future.
Paige, supposedly.
Oh, there you go. So we'll have to see how that goes. But next up, we got to see Bray Wyatt.
Supposedly, that's what I heard. I mean, I don't know. No.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But next up, we got to see Bray Wyatt go up against R-Truth. Just a short little match, and that was pretty much it. Nothing really to take from it.
Yep.
Next up, we got to see the Usos defeat 3MB. I don't really remember this matchup. Anything to take away from it? No.
All right.
Okay. Throughout SummerSlam, Miz was being interrupted by Fandango, and so during his match with Wade Barrett, Fandango came out and delivered a leg drop to the Miz while he was applying the figure 4 to Wade Barrett, causing the disqualification, getting Miz the victory. But one thing that I wanted to mention about this matchup was that we talk about, the precision that Del Rio has whenever he sets a target, he'll work the arm the whole matchup. Like, he's going to go for the arm bar. And so during the match with Christian was selling the injury throughout the whole matchup. He'd do something and go back to his shoulder. Oh God, my arm is killing me. And Del Rio would just keep attacking the arm. Whereas Miz, he'll just do his basic match, and then once Barrett falls on the ground, he's like, oh, well, I'm going to go for the figure four now. Like, I wish, it seems like Miz doesn't really think about these things. It's like, he's just like, oh, well, the finish has to come when I've got him in the figure four, so we'll just, run the calls until we get there. It's not like, oh, I'm going to work on the knee, then I'm going to work on the ankle and go from there. It's like, oh, I'm going to punch him in the head, I'm going to deliver a clothesline, I'm going to do, my set move, and then when the time comes, I'll do what I have to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
We kind of talked about this in the past, about believability of submissions and how fast you expect someone to tap or from being caught in one. And again, real life wise, a guy can get caught in a submission and tap within seconds if it's a block. If it holds in, but kind of the history of pro wrestling suggests to you that you need to work the body part.
Yeah.
Which is not the greatest at, obviously, like you're just speaking about. But I'll buy a guy getting caught in a submission and tapping quickly if the guy's built as a submission guy, or if I buy the guy as a submission guy. Like, if Bryan catches a guy in a submission, I'll buy a tap even if he didn't work it, just because that's how he's built. That's how the kinds of things I expect of him. But Miz is not a guy I buy as a submission guy.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right. But so that was the quote unquote main event of Raw. But the main portion of the show was Triple H, Vince, Stephanie, and Orton, all explaining their plots as to why Triple H turned on Daniel Bryan and why Randy Orton decided to cash in, and Triple H saying it was because of all of you. He's thinking of everybody. He's trying to better the business.
I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm doing it for all of y'all.
Yeah, he's like, you think I like working with Orton, the man who tortured my wife and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no.
So they acknowledged it.
Yeah, at least they did. And he said, I had to swallow my pride and do what was best for business. I did it for all of you.
I like Bryan.
Yeah, and,
I thought this was good stuff. With the conceit that why would he play along with Bryan the whole time? What if they really didn't think he was a top guy? They would have never expected him to win the title.
Yeah.
So why did he have to play along just to swerve him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did. Maybe they felt threatened by him. Maybe they think he's a capable enough wrestler, I guess, and he just didn't have the persona as a champ. If that's the case, they need to do a better job of explaining that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm fine with it with the conceit that why did he need to swerve him? Why didn't he just? Why wasn't he with Vince all along? But other than that, I thought it was huge, big doings that really put Bryan over.
And definitely with the work that having the roster out on the ramp with the Shield sort of being the guard dogs outside the ring. He's like, hey, let's get Bryan out here because we know he's in the stadium, or we know he's in the arena. Let's get him out here, play his music, but nobody interfere. If you guys mess with Bryan, there's gonna be hell to pay. But Bryan came out, wasn't afraid to step forward, got attacked by the Shield, tried to fend them off, tried to get into the ring, and was the recipient of an RKO for his troubles. So, the main picture being the McMahons, Triple H, and Orton holding hands high in the sky, victorious over their, torturing of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. Again, I like the end product. I like what it accomplishes. I just think that they need to either do a little bit better job of explaining why Trips thought he had to swerve him, or either that or it's a plot hole.
The real reason is probably you're not a main eventer. Look how small you are.
Maybe they needed to make that clear. They need to make it clear that they think he's a good enough wrestler. Like, he's capable of beating anybody, but he doesn't have the persona that they see in a champ.
Yeah.
Because when you say, like, oh, you're a B+, not an A, that's a really great line, but it's kind of vague. Like, what exactly do you mean like that? What exactly is he missing from being an A?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't think that's necessarily a nitpick. It may be. I don't know. I don't know. It was good stuff, though.
So there you go. So that's pretty much how we closed out SummerSlam and Raw. Got a great interview for you, and then we'll get into to our Total Divas segment, but here you go first.
You're listening to a special interview segment for the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, joining us on the show this week, another member of the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2004, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Mr. Valentine, welcome to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for that.
Thank you for allowing us to interview you. You'll be appearing at the Clutch City Productions Super Show along with Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, X-Pac, last week's guest Tino Santana, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, among many others, on August 31st out at the Pasadena Convention, located at 7902 Fairmont Parkway in Pasadena, Texas. For more information on that, go to clutchcityproductions.com. And, you know, Mr. Valentine, you've, you know, been at several different conventions and stuff like that. Are you getting excited about this one?
Yeah, you know, I do a lot of stuff up the east. I'm down the East Coast in Chicago and places in Los Angeles, but I haven't been to Houston for a while, except for the WrestleMania several years ago. I was there.
Very nice. And you know, what are your thoughts on getting to meet some of the fans who knew you yesteryear, who have, you know, since grown up, had some kids, and now their kids are sort of getting to find out who you are?
Yeah, thank goodness for DVD and WWE 24/7, where they can watch a lot of the stuff. Plus, YouTube has a lot of stuff on there too. But you know, it's real exciting. And you know, for years and years when I was wrestling, we were locked up in the dressing room, and we never got to meet our fans. Mm-hmm. Now here we are, you know, 10, 20 years later, getting to meet all the fans that we had. And you know what? You know, just about everybody, I've never had a heckler or person say anything bad to me. I mean, it's just like they all love the legends, and I'm just glad to be part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, speaking of YouTube, we were actually watching your infamous dog collar match with Roddy Piper before we got the interview going. You know, could you take us through some of your thoughts before that matchup, and did you think it would obtain the legendary status that it got, you know, after the matchup?
Well, you know, I was wrestling for the National Wrestling Alliance, NWA, and back then, and it was really big. It was probably just as big as the WWF back then, and it was actually the first pay-per-view for wrestling, but it wasn't, you couldn't get it in your home. You had to go to a closed circuit situation type theater thing. And the Greensboro Coliseum, you know, it held maybe 18, 19, that's stretching it, people there. But, you know, it was Piper's idea to bring this dog collar in, and I'm looking at this thing and I go, how are we going to pull this off? And but we did, and we wanted to make a statement that we really wanted to steal the show, because the other main event was Flair against Harley Race for the world title. We were the United States. We had that belt up. I was a champion at the time, but it wasn't really a title match, you know, because it was so obscure. This was actually the first ever hardcore match, and that was before they used that term, hardcore. Mm-hmm. But you know, we made a statement. We hurt each other. We did it for the fans because we wanted them to believe in it. We wanted to make a statement. And you know what? Like you said, that dog collar match stood the test of time.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And you know, I can't imagine like being in that sort of match where just like the slightest yank. They even said in the commentary, you know, during the commentary of the match, you know, just the slightest pull the wrong way could seriously injure your neck. And you know, I'm really glad that y'all were able to pull that match off. No, you know, with the exception of Mr. Piper's ear, the eardrum bursting. No serious.
Yeah, that was the year of the year. I titled that. And poor Roddy, Roddy was a little bit lighter than me. I think he was, 235, maybe soaking wet, and I was around 250, a little stouter, and I had that big neck, so it really didn't bother me so much. But Roddy's a real trooper. He was a Golden Glove boxer. I'm sure you weren't aware of that. He won that title up in Canada, and so he was a tough guy. So it was a brutal match, and the match. When I watch it, sometimes I show some friends at parties and stuff, and they watch that thing, and I didn't realize it went almost 45 minutes. It was a long match.
Yeah, and very brutal indeed. And your hits are just so hard. You didn't pull them, very stiff punches, especially in your feud with Tino Santana. It's considered one of those legendary feuds. It lasted over a year. Your matches together, considered one of the hardest hitting. Can you take us through what it was like working with Tito? Because I know I've heard in past interviews, y'all one would hit the other as hard as they could, and y'all would just slug it out.
Well, Tito was, he was a little greener than I was. I'd already been in the main events a lot down the NWA, and when I went to New York and several different times, and finally in 1985 we had this match, and I broke his leg, and then we went back, and he had his return matches against me, and the people were really behind it. It was very intense feud, and Tito knew the way I like to wrestle. I like to lay him in. And so he just, he went with it. A lot of guys, if I can't lay him in, I can't have a good match, because I was taught by my father, Johnny Valentine, and everybody in Houston knows Johnny Valentine. He was a legend everywhere, but especially in Houston at the old Sam Houston Coliseum, and Paul Blosh, the promoter, and all that. And so I was trained by my father. That's just the way I rolled. And, if I couldn't hit somebody, I couldn't have a match. And Piper hung in there just like, we're talking about Tito. Tito hung in there just like all my other, Ronnie Garvin, all my other feuds, the Bulldogs. If I could lay them in, if I could do what I wanted to do, it just, they were brutal matches. They were like dog fights, but they were also wrestling matches, and I love Tito Santana for putting up with that. And plus, he hit me hard too. So.
That's awesome.
Very nice. And you've had a few feuds that have lasted such a long time. I believe the blow off for Piper was after 2 years of y'all feuding. The off and on, but the one with Tito Santana lasted over a year, with the blow-off being the cage match. What are your thoughts on feuds nowadays not having much longevity anymore, with everything feeling rushed?
Yeah, my thoughts are I go back, I'm usually invited every year to go to the WrestleManias, and I enjoy that, but that seems like they're all hyped up and ready to go. But when I watch this stuff on Monday nights and stuff like that, I hate to knock the wrestling part of it, because I know they're all working real hard, and sometimes I do see some good matches, but it's a lack of intensity, it's a lack of storylines that people can follow, and they jump around too much on the titles. Like when I had a title, I had it a year or 2 years. It's just, who's the champion? It's either John Cena or someone else.
The next transition.
They lack the intensity.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
Yeah, and we asked this question to Mr. Santana as well. With the importance of the Intercontinental Championship during your time in WWE, as compared to what they do now, sort of just a transitional champion. Like the Intercontinental Championship had such an importance. Like this is going to be the next guy, and now it's kind of just tossed around. Like, do you feel that it devalues that championship a little bit with them doing that?
Absolutely, too. And then when the NWA and WCW were all bought up by Vince McMahon, and he brought everything in, and now he's got the United States title. I mean, I don't even know who's the United States champion. That was like the number 2 championship belt after the NWA World title. So that meant a lot, and my father had that a lot, and I had it 4 times. It was a prestigious belt. And the Intercontinental belt, first time, I think the first champion was Pat Patterson, who was a very good wrestler. Then Don Morocco had it. Then he had that feud with Snuka. Snuka had it. And Tito finally got it from Morocco, and then I was the next in line, and then on and on. Ultimate Warrior had that title. I believe Piper had it for a while. It was the number 2 title, and it's a shame that I don't even the World Tag Team belts nowadays. I mean, when Beefcake and myself had those tag titles against the Bulldogs, we didn't have to have Hulk Hogan on the card wherever we were at to sell out. All we had to, you put the Dream Team on top against the British Bulldogs, and it was an instant sellout because they were intense. They were intense matches, just like the ones I have with the other guys. The Bulldogs were great, and it's just, it's the same thing. It's just, I hate to keep repeating myself, but we made those titles mean something.
Yeah, and it was also one of those things about, sort of tapping into your character, developing your character, whereas nowadays they have writers. They come out and say, okay, you're going to come out and say this, and this is where your character is going to go, as opposed to, seeing, a character develop. What are your thoughts on writers in wrestling?
Oh, I don't like it at all, and they're Hollywood writers, and they're young. I'm not knocking them because they're young, but they are young, and they don't understand this wrestling business. What they should do is have guys like myself, other people that understand this wrestling business. And, I remember when I broke into the business in the 70s, and, I'm 21, 22 years old, and all the guys that were on top they were 40, all of them almost 50 years old. And I thought, gee, these guys are really old. But you know what? That was the deal. That was because it took 7-8 years to really be a polished worker, a polished wrestler. And they were basically teaching the young guys how to take over and pass the torch to them. Now that doesn't happen anymore. You got a few older guys in there like The Undertaker, and they keep a couple guys like that around, but that's it. They don't pass the torch the right way, and that's what's wrong with it.
I know earlier you said you still follow the product. Is there anyone on the roster that you think can go toe-to-toe with you in your prime?
Well, yeah. I mean, physically, these guys, I'm not knocking them physically. I'm just talking about the psychology and grabbing a hold and the intensity. But my favorite, because I love his father, is Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. I love the way his kid works because he's old school all the way. I'm speaking of Randy Orton. And, John Cena is just like, he's good and everything, but I think it's overkill. I like The Rock. I used to wrestle with his father, Rocky Johnson. He's old school too. So some of those guys still have it because they're second generation. It's inherited in them. There's something there that comes through, and they get it, and they have that it factor. And there's the it factor is how you draw money and how the people love to come and watch you wrestle, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. And there's not a lot of guys with that it factor going.
Is there any of the younger talent that ask you for advice?
Yeah, but I still do independence and I still get in the ring. not as much, but I actually got in the ring 3 times last month, and they're all very respected. The independents that I don't do anything for WWE or TNA, but the independents that I do are good shows. We just did one up in Notre Dame, and we had like 2,000 people. Tito was on that card. The Barbarian was on that card, and Cowboy Bob. But all those guys, the most respect, and they come back and say, "Did you watch my match?" And sometimes I feel bad because I didn't watch the match, but yeah, they always ask us, and you know, we're glad to help out.
You mentioned earlier about how, you know, fans would come to see good guys, they would come to boo the bad guys. Do you feel like, you know, do you feel like kayfabe is dead now because of social media? Like they'll go on the Today Show and they'll make comments about, you know, how much fun they have, but then they go on to Raw where they're supposed to be booed, but it's, you know, it feels like it's hard to boo this person when you see their you know, more normal side.
Well, yeah, you touched on the subject that I've been touching on. The intensity's gone because, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, they're a bunch of actors and they're acrobats, and that being said, you know, that takes away from the intensity. I prided myself by making the first row believe my match and believe who I was and believe in me and believe in my opponent, because that's what drew money. I didn't BS the people. I that's the way the business is built, and Johnny Valentine built it that way too. They came to see the bad guy get beat, and they believed it. I mean, there was still some non-believers, but most of the people bought a ticket because they believed in it. And it was a lot more believable. I mean, you can go to a movie and sit down and forget about everything and the bills and all this other bad stuff that's going on in your life, or even good stuff, and you can sit down, and if that movie is intense and it keeps you, I mean, it keeps your attention, you love it. That's the way we did it with our matches. Now, you know, you go to a bad movie, you get up and leave. You go to a bad wrestling match, you get up and go get some popcorn, you know. So, you know, it's just, I always thought that they would get back to the way it used to be, but on certain matches, you know, there's some matches that are really good, but you know, yet again, you know, you got 3 hours of wrestling on Monday night and an hour, I think there's an hour on tonight somewhere, and then 2 hours or whatever it is on Friday. I think there's too much. I think they give the product away too much on television, and maybe the 3 hours, maybe they can't think up enough stuff to make it interesting, you know. It's too much television.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of oversaturation for some, but
and a pay-per-view every month. You know, I mean, we had a pay-per-view 4 times a year, and you could build your product and build that, you know, the storylines and stuff, and build up to that blow-off that you'd have at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or Survivor Series, Royal Rumble. That was it. Now there's so many that you can't keep up, and then the other company, forget about it. They don't get ratings anyway.
You know, wrestling has always been in your blood. Being a second-generation superstar, was there anything you might have wanted to be if not a wrestler when growing up?
Oh, well, I love the rock and roll business, and I wanted to be a DJ at a radio station, and because I grew up in Los Angeles, and I grew up around all those AM, FM radio stations and those shock jocks and all that, and I thought I wanted to do that, and I had the voice for it, but, you know, I went on the road with my dad one time in Texas for about 3 months, and that was it. I knew what I wanted to do.
Caught the bug.
Yeah.
And it all accumulated to a Hall of Fame career. You were inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004. What were your thoughts when you got the call for that?
Actually, I was out in Phoenix, and I don't remember exactly what I was doing out there, but I got a call from Vince McMahon himself, and I hadn't talked to him in, several years. I left the WWE in good terms. Mm-hmm. I'm a good businessman, but it was time to get out of there. He said, "Would you like to be in the Hall of Fame?" I said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "I didn't even, they had it a few years, and then they stopped it.
Right.
And then they started it back up in 2004, and they had about 10 of us guys going at the same time: Jesse Ventura, Don Morocco, Junkyard Dog, who had passed away, Big John Studd, Bobby Heenan. I mean, man, it was fantastic, and it was a great phone call. And I was on a real natural high, and they brought my wife and I up there and to New York, and it was in Madison Square Garden too. It was WrestleMania 20, which made it even better because that was one of the first breaks I really got. 1979 when I wrestled Bob Backlund there, and it was a good, real, it was. I was I was humbled, and I loved it, and I also thought, well, I deserve this, but I was still humbled, and that's one thing that you wrestle all those years, and sometimes you think, well, nobody really cares at the end of it, but that showed me that they did,
Has there been anyone that you've worked with that you're kind of shocked that they have not been in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah, it's funny. There's some big names out there that deserve to be in there. One of them is my partner, Beefcake. Mm-hmm. Still call him my partner because we still wrestle together too. He deserves it. And Jake the Snake Roberts would be another one that I would say would deserve it. It's hard to think right now, all the guys popping in my head, but those two stand out to me because I see them a lot, and I think they deserve it a lot more than. Well, I'm not going to mention names. I don't want to be a name dropper, but a lot more than some of the people they put. I mean, come on, why would you put Donald Trump in there? He doesn't need that, Yeah. Some silly stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But him and Vince are good buddies, so.
Yeah, I got to have that celebrity wing.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, I loved it that Pete Rose got in there the same year. He's not a wrestler, but he came around for 4 different WrestleManias, and come on, he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, and I met him one time over in Japan. I thought he was a swell guy, and he was one hell of a Charlie Hustle. He was a hell of a baseball player. And, so some of those guys I think deserve it,
And with the work that Jake the Snake Roberts is putting in, he's trying to make a campaign to enter the Royal Rumble for next year. I'm sure you would love to see that.
Absolutely, Jake. He's had a lot of demons, had a lot of troubles, but he was one hell of a draw. He was one hell of a wrestler. Great interviews, and he was very intense when he wrestled. His father was a great man, Grizzly Smith, who's no longer with us, but one of the nicest guys, and he was kind of like an agent on the road with us. And, he deserves it. Come on.
Absolutely. Also considered one of the better talkers, one of the greatest psychological wrestlers out there in the business.
Yeah, he had that it factor going.
Was there anyone that you that you traveled with on a regular basis? Did you have any interesting stories for that?
Well, we haven't covered the Ric Flair feud that I had where I broke his. We were world tag team champions a couple different times together, NWA, and then we had a feud where I hit him over his nose with a cane and actually broke his nose for real.
Wow.
But we had some crazy road trips that I can't even say. I can't talk about the content of them, but he was like a real ride. He's quite a character, Ric Flair.
Oh, he's still doing it though.
Yeah, he's out there.
Must be great to have lived in that time, and you get to.
Me and Brutus had a lot of great trips together too. Even before we were champions together, we were friends down in the Carolinas and stuff, and I had a lot of trips with Hogan too. So we like to kind of stick to each other and be on the road together because we were close, and it's good to have your friends. It's like old high school buddies hanging out together,
Mm-hmm. Reliving the good times.
Yeah.
And it'll be good because you'll get to relive those times with all the fans coming out to Clutch City Productions, the Super Show. It's going to be taking place August 31st out of the Pasadena Convention Center, located 7902 Fairmont Parkway. Mr. Valentine, it has certainly been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you out at Clutch City.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Have a good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
And now, Total Divas with Doug and Tyler. Mostly Doug.
No wonder people call you fat on Twitter.
Shut up! I have to say, I feel like a real diva.
You are a grown-ass woman.
Hey, it's Total Divas time, guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so
Highly popular Total Divas segment.
well, had a little bit of problem this week. We had to catch the replay, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like that it's on during the pay-per-view on pay-per-view nights. I think that's a big mistake and something they needed to fix. Other than that, show was about as entertaining as ever.
There's some good parts.
But one of the major, I guess there was 3 stories as usual. It seems like they always do, like they like to do a 3-story show. One of the main storylines being this week would be Ariane wanting to get breast implants because I guess she thought her boobs weren't big enough.
Well, she sees different things. She wants, was it the crowd or the guys to be? Well, she saw the Bellas and their boobs.
Nikki's boobs were really.
Nikki at the event when they were signing all that stuff. And
she also has fake boobs, I believe.
Well, she wants the attention too.
You're right. She wants the attention. So basically, she goes to a plastic surgeon where they give her some like fake boobs to wear around or whatever. But I guess while they're in the office for the appointment, like some chick, I don't really know if she was a nurse or what.
She works there or just
a past breast implant person.
Trinity's here.
Yeah, Trinity comes along.
At first, they're both. Well, John's with them too, but John's not.
Yeah, Trinity and John come along for the ride. John hangs out in the waiting room, obviously. Some weird lady, which we're not really sure. We guess she works there. I don't know if she's a nurse or just someone who had a boob job, and then she just starts taking her boobs out for them to see and to touch and whatever.
Like, you want to feel it, and like she feels it, and like
Trinity's like, yo, I'm gonna get John in here to fill these. And John comes in and she's like, hey, this is your freebie. This is like the only chance you're gonna get to touch.
Like boom out of nowhere, and then he like turns around and he's like, no, you go ahead, fill him, Mr. J. And I don't know, he was nervous.
He was like apprehensive about it, which
was awesome.
Like a good dude. I mean, like he was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Why you want me to touch this chick's boobs? And
yeah,
but she pretty much forced his hand, so to speak, and he touched the boobs, and it was
the boobs.
He was kind of freaked out about it, but it was fine. So they gave her these fake, I guess they're silicone and some fake boobs to carry around with her to see how it would be. So she wears them in her different costumes and stuff.
Yeah, she was at the pool. One fell out. It floats. Different places. They're back at Raw. They try to get the sew into her costume,
Yeah, they were gonna like sew it in so she didn't lose it while she was out there.
One of the Bellas took it out.
Nikki.
Yeah, they played a joke on her, so she went out there with like one boob.
Yeah, she basically had to go out with like one boob. Well, she put a bunch of toilet paper in there to try and match it up. But yeah, pretty much.
She just pretty much decided at the end she's not gonna get it at this time because she wants to be a positive role model towards kids or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what she said. I don't think that she was implying that if you're not a role model if you get breast implants. I just think she was trying to say that if that's what you want, that's what makes you happy, that's fine, but it's also like totally fine to be happy with what you have, you know. I don't think she was like throwing in any shade or passing any judgment. She was just saying like, you know, it's cool to be happy with what you are, and
yeah,
people should know that you're fine being happy with what you are. I guess one of the other big storylines would be Nikki being the quote unquote like fat Bella is what they were going with, which was crazy because she's not fat at all.
No, she's not.
I mean, if anything, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say like Brie is like too skinny, but like she's on the super skinny side, and that's fine. Like, I'm not
both
like,
skinny.
Yeah, like neither is fat. Neither of them looks bad. Like, I don't want to like play into anyone's like body like negative body images. Like, no, I don't want to say that Brie's like too skinny either, because if she's healthy, then she's healthy. Like, it's whatevs, you know. It's but
they're trying to get ready for a shoot.
The point is, Nikki is definitely not fat, and their whole reasoning for even saying it in the first place was they're supposed to be identical, and they get paid to be identical, and they weren't identical, and that's why people on Twitter call Nikki fat, and it's dumb. The girl isn't fat; she's just normal sized girl. There's nothing wrong with her, you know.
Yeah, they're trying to. They were getting ready for a shoot, and Nikki wanted Brie to. Wait, right? No, Brie wanted Nikki.
Brie was kind of being, you know, pretty catty and pretty terrible about making
like,
her
you
feel
drink
bad.
too much and you eat, so we're gonna go on a drink diet.
They were gonna fast, or they're doing a cleanse. I think they're calling it a cleanse.
Okay, who's one? Daniel Bryan?
Brie.
Brie. What was she doing? She was saying, "Oh yeah," she was talking to Daniel about like, I gotta burn off these 3 pounds, and it's like this water weight, you know, it's like that's so icky, and it's like Daniel's like, you're always talking about the 3 pounds that you're trying to. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just
act like
it was ridiculous.
Act like the 3 pounds. If you have the 3 pounds, you're fat.
Yeah, I mean it is ridiculous. I mean she for sure didn't need to lose any weight, and neither did Nikki. It was weird.
They pretty much fight. Nikki doesn't stick with it, or they find out that she was drinking wine and had a muffin, and
oh god, not a muffin.
Yeah, they argue, and it pretty much ends up where they do apologize, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna eat something too, and then like,
yeah.
Okay. It really wasn't that much to it, to be honest with you. It's just bickering.
I felt like I wasn't as alert for this show just because I like came home from the pay-per-view. Excuse me, and tried to. I had to catch it on the replay while I was trying to get ready for bed and go to work the next day. But basically, the last like main, I guess again, they usually do about 3 segment, or not segments, but 3 main stories a show. The other being Natty and TJ.
Oh, I just want to mention, the Natty thing. This is the Earth 2. Just because the show starts out with, I forgot which one it is, one of the Bellas with Natty. They're friends. They're at a lingerie shop.
Yeah.
And it's like, why don't you get something for TJ? And it's like, oh, he's not into what she says. He wouldn't like this. I forgot how he said it, or she said it.
She's basically just saying that he doesn't pay her enough attention, and it wouldn't really matter what she was wearing, and she felt kind of dumb putting this stuff on, which is again stupid. Like apparently all these girls have like body image issues, which none of them should have, and If you're healthy, and that's like the important thing.
They both look good.
I love that you said that so matter of factly. They both look good.
They both look good wearing next to nothing.
Yeah, she looked totally fine. And so she bought lingerie. She went home, and I guess we should mention that Tyson Kidd is TJ, just in case you don't watch or you didn't know. And they're engaged, and they've been engaged for a while, but they haven't set a date, much like the other engagement storyline.
Yeah.
Man,
she comes home.
There have been so many like engagement storylines and body issue storylines so far.
Yeah,
it's like the tropes of the show so far.
It's like they have a theme going.
Yeah. Well, and she comes home and talks to him for a while.
He's watching the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
She's like, you're there all the time. You can't get enough of this shit. And she's like, no, can't get enough. She like comes out in the lingerie, and he's just kind of ignoring her, watching the pay-per-view. And he's like, hey, Braun's doing really good. It was like
it's like maybe if I dressed up as Brian, I could get some attention. I was like, you should.
Goat mask and everything, and beard.
That part reminded me like Doug. I was like, if you dressed up as Daniel Bryan, you get his attention.
What are you trying to say? Anyway, so basically they have issues because he's rehabbing his injury and not paying enough attention to her, and she wants to set a date for the wedding, and he's just kind of like, whatevs.
It's like, Murr.
Then he tries to take her to the courthouse to do it like quick style without like all her family there, and she's like not having it. She wants all the family and the friends there, and he's like, what the fuck, you said you wanted to get married. And she's like, yeah, but not like this, you asshole. And and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever,
what is.
And then they just kind of they make up, and like they realize, like, how does this one end? I can't remember now.
She shows up at the house, and he has rose petals.
Oh,
and
yeah, he does it.
And all that stuff. And she's like smiling. They just talk, and one kiss, and that's it.
And then she puts on her lingerie, and they do it.
Yep, that's it for Total Divas this week.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Boobies, lingerie, and insecurity about one's body. That was the theme for this week. Insecurity. Well, thank you.
Well, I don't want to like on the serious tip. I don't want us to like feel like we're making light of people with body image issues. Like we're not. Our point was none of these girls look bad, and apparently they think they do. It's like kind of ridiculous. So yeah, we're not. Seriously, on the serious tip, we're not making fun of anyone who has negative body image issues. Yeah. If you're healthy, then you're healthy, and that's the important thing.
There you go. So thank you for Total Divas segment.
Trust me, today someone's like, damn, you need to start running or something. Would you gain like 20 pounds? I was like, well, yeah, I have fucking gained 20 pounds, you asshole. I quit smoking, and now I can't stop eating. So yeah, I've gained 20 pounds. Thanks for noticing, bitch.
Well, I'd rather you gain 20 pounds than continue to smoke.
Yeah, I gotta go get some new clothes. I can't fit in any of my shit.
Well, very proud of you for quitting smoking, by the way.
Oh, well, appreciate it.
That's a very big deal.
I mean, I wasn't trying to make it like about me. I'm just saying, like, people deal with the body shit all the time. Someone today just told me, you look like you gained 20 pounds. And it's because I have gained 20 pounds.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'll get down eventually.
Yeah.
Just tell him, piss off.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I was like, no, I know, asshole. I quit smoking.
I was like, hey, I look good.
Can't stop eating.
Cleaner lungs and everything.
Smell it.
I hope.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So there you go. So we do have some hot topics for you guys. For those of you who missed it, the WWE 2K14 revealed their 30 years of Mania roster over the weekend.
They did.
Yeah, a lot of big names in there.
Yes,
but it looks like
on
okay.
the phone.
All right, well there you go. Take it away, Tyler.
I'll tell you what the roster consists of.
Thanks.
So far,
and this is just the 30 years of Mania roster. This isn't the full roster.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to read what they have revealed on the website.
Okay. So here's their full list.
That's so far.
So far.
Alberto Del Rio. Andre the Giant.
Has been announced.
Huh?
What?
I'm saying the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah. I'm going to.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
Batista.
Ooh.
Big Show.
Big.
Retro Big Show.
Retro.
Big John Studd. He's new. Bret Hart. Brock Lesnar. Retro Brock Lesnar. Chris Jericho. Retro Chris Jericho. CM Punk. Daniel Bryan.
Retro. CM Punk.
Yeah. Darren Young. Diesel. Not Kevin Nash. Diesel.
Ooh.
Dolph Ziggler. Edge. Goldberg. Hulk Hogan. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. JBL. That's a weird. Look at that. Look at that face for JBL. That's not JBL's face. That's weird looking. John Cena. Retro John Cena.
Where you still can't see him.
Yeah. Retro Kane. King Kong Bundy. Mick Foley. Macho Man Randy Savage. Randy Orton. Reza Ramon.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio. Ric Flair. Retro Ric Flair. Ricky Steamboat. Ryback. Now people can have Goldberg versus Ryback matches.
There you go. So people will shut up about it.
Sergeant Slaughter. Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels Retro. Yeah, okay. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ted DiBiase. The Rock. Retro Rock.
Which Ted DiBiase? $1 Million Man or?
Oh, $1 Million Man.
Okay.
The Miz. Triple H. Retro Triple H.
Six H's.
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior. Okay. Undertaker. American Badass Undertaker. Retro Undertaker.
3 Undertakers.
And Yokozuna.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your 30 years of Mania roster.
Fuck yeah, Yokozuna, you badass.
So definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And they still have the Ultimate Warrior, many others. Is Bruno Sammartino still announced for the game?
He's rumored to be in a game, but it's not confirmed if it's this game or an additional game they're going to be creating. You know, every couple of years they throw out that like second game that they do like once. They don't ever do it again.
Hokey game.
Nah, they had some cool ones.
Yeah.
All Stars was pretty awesome.
What does that look like? That's not his
JBL face.
That's not JBL. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Looks like an imposter dressed like JBL.
Fuck. In fact, give me an All Stars too. Aber, didn't you like All Stars?
Yeah.
All Stars is cool. I'll take another All Star.
Me too.
There you go. So get on it, WWE. It was also announced during Raw that we're going to have a new, quote unquote, tag team, Los Matadores, set to debut soon. And it's actually been revealed that it's a new package for Epico and Primo. So they'll be coming out. And I don't know why, but at first, and I'm sure there are a lot of people like it who, when the video first started, they thought El Generico because they had the ole, ole, ole. And so you kind of thought, well, maybe they'll throw us the curveball and let Generico debut or something. But no, it's not to be. So you excited to see Los Matadores? Doors?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were a solid team who was underutilized. So maybe looks like they've been bitten by the tag team bug again, and they want to do some tag team stuff, and we'll see how long that lasts. We'll wait. I'm not gonna hold our breaths or anything, but we'll just enjoy what we're capable of enjoying.
Yeah. So there you go. Final bit of Hot Topic news. Want to send a special, very special congratulations to our good buddy John David Guerra of Nightmare Pro Wrestling becoming a father this week.
We are so on that saying his name right now. I know. Congratulations, John.
John who?
Guerra.
There you go. So big congrats on that. His
super congratulations.
His wife gave birth earlier this week. So.
Hey man, y'all, all the listeners, y'all go buy some comics because diapers ain't cheap. Y'all go buy some comics.
No joke. Yeah. Go to nightmareprowrestling.com for all the information on that. Also check them out on Facebook, Nightmare Pro Wrestling. Show a little support. He's doing their he does a Monday Night Draw, and I know we've been sharing some of the pictures on there. Some of those drawings are available for purchase, and he'll do commissions for you, and he'll draw some badass stuff if you like the drawing he did of the three of us, and
also the one of me and the bear.
Tyler and the bear, his spirit Shadow Bear, badass bear. So there you go. Go and check that out. So congratulations, John. Best of luck on that. Hope the baby doesn't keep you awake too late. But it's time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question coming to us from Thomas. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
Saying, with it being a few weeks till I return.
I thought you were going like this.
Nah, I don't know what I was doing.
He's dropping it.
I'm fucking insanely tired. That's all.
Oh, well,
I don't know what I'm doing.
We're going home here,
I
guys.
want a soda.
Bring it home. Bring it home, guys.
So with it being a few
Go to the
weeks-
finish, Dino. Go to the finish.
Okay. Thomas saying with it being a few.
That's the falsy right there.
But Thomas saying with it being a few weeks till I return to college, which I hear is somewhere you go for 2 years before uni. Not sure if I get the reference on that one.
It sounds like what they call college, they call university. I hear.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
I guess college is like a pre-university thing. Like their college is actually a pre.
Interesting.
Maybe it's like a 2-year program, like a junior college or like
Gotcha.
a state school kind of a thing.
Okay. Well, he says, I can't help but eagerly anticipate returning. I recently got my grades back from my first year there. And if the gym, if it has to be an A in film studies, next year I'll be making short films and script writing, 2 things I am super excited for. So I thought I'd ask, since say when I'm big in Hollywood, I decide to make 3 films. Voice of a Generation, the Daniel Herron story. One Man, One Word, the life of Tyler, yes, Abear. And Burliness, the man simply known as Doug.
Why I gotta be burly, man? I already got told I gained 20 pounds. I can get down with surly. Okay, let's make it surly.
Surliness?
Surliness.
The man simply known as Doug.
I'm surly for sure. Like I'm not always this burly. Like I'm gonna not be as burly hopefully soon. But yeah, whatevs. I can take it.
So
I'm surly and I'm burly, bitch.
So
What's up?
Thomas's question is: in a film about your life, who would you want to play you?
First of all, I think it's like really cool that like he's gonna be like making movies and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Just like I mean,
and if you need someone to voice the trailers, let me know because that's something I want to do.
I don't know if Jonathan Crow's still around, but he's like he makes video games. He's Lowson's making movies. All kinds of listeners doing all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Anyway, Aber, say your thing. Take it home, son.
I'm trying to think of
who would play Tyler. Yes, Aber.
Is it like who would I want to play me, or who do I think is a fair depiction of me?
We can do both. The question is, who would you want to play you?
Oh, I want that the dude from Suits, like not the one who faked like he took the. Not the one who faked like he went to law school and like just passed the bar.
he works with?
Like the older one, the Gabriel like mocked or whatever, just because he's like ridiculously handsome.
All right, how about you, Tyler?
Shit.
But no, that is in no way a fair like depiction of me. So I don't know.
Okay.
Just pick someone handsome. Go with a handsome dude.
This guy has, I think, blonde hair. He needs to like dye his hair black. But I picked Durs from Workaholics.
Nice. All right.
I can see that.
I'd probably pick, even though it's like we're to completely different body frames, I'd go with Sam Rockwell just because his acting is awesome, and so I think I would like to see him play me.
So this is all like who we want, not who we think are fair depictions.
No, not at all. That's who I want to play me. If you could get Sam Rockwell to play my life, that would be badass.
Or Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to play.
There you go. So thanks for the question, Thomas. I'm
more like a Charlie, I think.
Just get a job.
No, I'm on Mac. I think I'm more Mac or more. I'm definitely not Dennis. Am I more Mac or more Charlie?
Mac.
Think so?
My humor would be Charlie though.
You're not getting fat. You're cultivating mass.
That's right.
So,
See me jabbing needles in my belly.
Yeah, but Charlie would be my humor.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I don't know who I would be more.
So there you go. All right. Well, thanks for the question.
Okay, I'm gonna bust this window. I'm gonna do a kick. You didn't even reach it. Well, I was just warming up.
Yeah. So next question coming to us from Jonathan Red Robin, saying, does anyone feel like we could be getting a new Austin versus McMahon feud with Bryan and Triple H?
Yeah, I think it's pretty apparent that that's the blueprint. I hope that they don't follow it too closely. Let it be its own thing, though.
Daniel Bryan driving a milk truck. It's goat milk. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's vegan.
No, it can't be vegan.
It's tofu. He's throwing tofu.
So there you go. Looks like a killer tofu. Ooh, ooh. Killer tofu. Yeah. Fan of the beats. That's what I'm talking about. Next question coming to us from Hugh saying, question for DDT. Now that 2K revealed their roster for the upcoming game, if you guys were in charge and could put any past superstar into the game, who would it be?
Okay, does it have to be a guy who actually worked for the Fed, or can it be if it comes from a place where they've acquired the footage and the rights to, does that count?
Does not specify. Just if you were in charge, you could put any past superstar into the game. Who would it be? So I'm guessing someone who worked in the WWE or WCW
I got
or
two.
ECW.
Those in my head.
All right.
Colin Delaney and Zach Gowen.
Okay.
What? So what are you saying? What did you say to my question? It has to be a guy who actually
someone
worked
from
for
the
Fed?
past. Yeah.
Can't be just someone they acquired the rights to.
I'll say ECW, WCW, or WWE.
Well, that leaves it open to anybody that they've acquired the rights to.
Okay, then yes.
I'm going Terry Gordy.
All right. How about Terry Funk, Chainsaw Charlie?
Funk
He's in
and
it.
Charlie have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've both been in the game.
All right. Owen Hart then.
Yeah, I don't think Owen's been.
I know
He hasn't been in a recent one.
Yeah. I think that'd be good. So there you go. Next question coming to us from Jonah. New question. New person asking us a question. Saying a few people expected Orton to cash in, but no one.
Hi, Jonah.
But no one expected Triple H to turn. Where do you guys think they're leading to with this? And I think we kind of covered some of that.
I don't think it's so much that no one expected Triple H to turn. There was rumors that he was turning the feud with Vince at Mania. He was going to have a guy. It's just I don't think anyone thought that was going to be connected to the Bryan stuff.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
Where do you guys think they're leading to with this?
I'm not sure. Like I was just asking for. I feel like they've left out a part of the story with saying why, or maybe we'll get it. Why Trips turned. I don't know where we're going with it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I guess we'll just have to look and wait and see as far as where they're going to be going. But thanks for the question. Next question coming to us from Ben. Saying, are you planning on getting WWE 2K14? If so, which version, regular mode or Phenom edition?
Regular. I don't feel like ordering the Phenom edition from their website.
Well, you can go to GameStop or something.
Did they specify?
I don't think so.
Because the last few, well, I know this is different. This is 2K instead of THQ, but the last few years you have to order their website for the special edition. GameStop didn't carry it, so I don't know. It depends. Okay. If GameStop carries it, then I'll get the Phenom edition.
All right. How about
Yeah,
you?
I'm gonna get the game. I think he's just baiting us and want us to rant because of the whole THQ thing from like last year or the year before or whatever happened. 2 years ago, where he bitched about it a lot. I think he's baiting us, or maybe not. Maybe he didn't listen way back then. Who knows? I can barely remember back then. I'm really holding out to see if they're going to announce if they're going to be next gen or not, like what they're doing.
Yeah.
Before I make any concrete
PS4
decision.
is like
November
comes
15th.
out. Yeah. What about
14th,
Xbox?
one of the two.
What about Xbox?
I think they're supposed to announce sometime this week.
Yeah. Definitely during the holidays.
It may already be announced.
There you go. I'm still on the fence just because I don't play video games as much as I used to. So, I mean, I have WWE 12 and I rarely play it anymore. I don't really play any video games to be honest. I don't know. I've thought about it. I might.
I don't play as much, but if there's a game that comes out that I really want, I'll play it. But it's not like I play game after game after game. I play one game, drop it for a while. These days, I just do one game and I'll stop for a while. Like now, I'm just on one PC game.
Not to mention there are a lot of games that are getting ready to come out that I
Grand Theft
really
Auto
want.
next month. Woo!
Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, Batman Origins, like
Wonderful 101.
and they just released Saints Row 4. So
That's
this week.
That's today, huh?
Yeah. So there you go. But thank you for the question. Final question coming to us from Juan from YouTube, saying,
Hey, Juan,
I'm a new listener, and I'd like to say that you guys
Oh, hey, what's up, Juan?
are awesome. I'm happy that I made you guys my first pick for my first podcast.
Cool.
On to my question. Everyone is thinking that Evolution is going to return, but I highly doubt Batista would return. What young star would you guys think would be a good fit with Evolution if they form it again? Also, I'd love it if you could include WWE 2K14 as a segment or something. I've been following WNS since it was wrestling radio, and I love this podcast. Keep it up. So first off, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for letting us be your pick for your podcast.
They said we're his first, so it could always change.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he listens to another podcast and now he hates us. He only has one. He only has one to go on. Who knows? We kind of do a video game thing every show, pretty much.
We try to keep people updated as far as what's going on in the gaming community for that.
Yeah, but thanks for checking us out.
Yeah. So who do you guys think, if they decided to reform Evolution, who would be the new guy that they would add to the faction?
I think it depends on what spot you're looking to fill. Are you looking to You're looking for a Batista like analog? Do you want a muscle guy? Do you need a muscle guy? Is that what they're asking? Or does it
just
matter?
Someone, because when they formed Evolution, it was the veteran, the top guy, and then the two new guys to bring in. So now you've got Triple H. So
you're saying it could be Orton or Batista?
Yeah.
He just wants a new guy. He doesn't want someone who fits into the spots.
Yeah, because you in there you had Ric Flair being the veteran, Triple H being the current, and then two new guys. For this one, it would be Triple H being the veteran, Orton being the current guy, and then say you bring two new guys in.
I picked Biggie.
Biggie Langston. Okay.
I think it's a spot for someone you think is talented, but you don't really know what you want to do with them.
Mm-hmm. Or would you bring in someone from NXT?
Yeah, I'd definitely give it to an NXT guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. My brain's about to shut off. I'm tired. Tyler Breeze, though, that motherfucker. I'm not saying he's a good pick for this. I'm just saying best entrance in pro wrestling, probably. I know everyone's saying that. I'm joining in. Only because we talked about NXT. I don't know. I don't even know what's happening right now. My brain's shutting off as we speak.
Well,
dude,
I don't know.
You're actually in your apartment right now.
I wish. I'm fucking tired.
Toast. So there you go. But thank you, Juan, for listening. We certainly do appreciate it. We apologize if we didn't answer the question you might have liked. But don't forget to submit your questions on WNS Video, also WNS Podcast on Facebook. You can also check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook, WNS or Wrestling News Source Podcast on iTunes. Make sure to subscribe there as well.
We are on Twitter at WNS Podcast for the main site, WN Source.
Yeah, we're all those places. Also Stitcher.
So
like and subscribe and follow and rate and review. Please, it really helps us get the word out. It helps get more ears on the show. We don't ask you for your money. So please just do that for us. We appreciate it.
There you go. Don't forget to support Nightmare Pro Wrestling. Also go to ClutchCityProductions.com and check out all that. That's going to be happening, the Super Show on August 31st. Big event going there. Lots of chances to meet different kinds of superstars and all that. Good stuff. Also, Asteroid Belt Company. Make sure to give them support as well if you want your own custom championship belt.
You really should.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
But you can't have a WNS podcast belt. You can't.
No. You can't. So there you go.
The only way you can have one is if you kill A-Bear.
That's possible.
Come and take it, bitches.
Oh, laying the challenge down. So there you go. For the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler A. Bear.
I'm Ghost. Bye, bitches.
And we will catch you all next week.